Everybody, Andrew Cuneo here. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Right now Arena's doing a historic with no bans format. So this is going to be best of one. It's all access, so anybody can play any cards they want. I think it's not literally no bans. You're not allowed to play Demonic Tutor, Channel, and I think, Tybalt's Trickery. But other than that, you can play whatever you want. And so this is one of the only opportunities anybody's ever going to have to play with 4 Necropotences, short of building a time machine and going back to the mid-90s, because I think that this is banned or restricted in every format that exists in Magic. We've also got 4 Dark Rituals, which this is a classic combo from the mid-90s. Extremely powerful. 4 Memory Lapses, which is banned in Historic. It probably really doesn't need to be banned. This card is, I think, banned more for being annoying than for being super powerful, but it is pretty good. Unnerfed Orcish Bowmasters, which that's a weird part of this, is that even if you just wanted to use it as an all-access thing to try out the historic deck idea, you still have to play against Unnerfed Bowmasters, which is a little bit weird, but very, very good card. I'm not a huge lover of Oracle of the Alpha, but I think with Necro, the idea of shuffling Time Walk into my deck is pretty appealing. And then we get to the 4 drops, which is where kind of the Necro combo element's going to come in. So I'm playing with Tendrils of Agony as a way to gain life and, deal. Probably I'm not going to literally storm anybody out for 20. It's probably actually impossible to deal 20 with a single Tendrils in one turn in this deck, because you have a max hand size of 7 with Necro. I guess maybe I could chain Beseeches somehow to do it, but probably not. And then some Ruskos, which Rusko is kind of like a mini Tendrils, and some Beseech the Mirrors to bargain away my Necros if I get tired of having them, or to find Time Walk, or to find Tendrils. Primarily, the bargain fodder would be Necro, the Amass Orc from Bowmasters, and the Clock from Rusko, and also Moxes that you get off of Oracle of the Alpha, or Black Lotus. I might bargain away a Black Lotus. We'll have to see. So let's find out. I go first. Excellent. Do I want to over Necro? Probably not this turn. I'm just going to go back up to 7. Because unless I hit a Dark Ritual, I wasn't going to be able to do anything better with my turn than just play a Bowmaster. Probably don't want to kill Stitcher Supplier. This person's up to something fancy. I think there's a red haste creature in their deck that brings back enchantments. It's going to be a problem for me. Let's see if they have it in their hand. They do. I think I'm dead. Maybe not. So this is going to be a giant trampler. I hope I wound up Necro locked. No. Not Necro locked. Come on, give me 2 good ones. Now I'm Necro locked. Well, I can Dark Ritual and I can play Bowmasters, and that's going to be it for game actions for me this game. I guess I can also I can kill myself with Necro if I need to. I do. You may cast an instant or sorcery from your hand without paying its cost. Oh. I don't care about that. I was like, they're just going to unearth the Storm Herald back. I think they get the Storm Herald back with Unearth now, and I die. Kind of cool. Didn't put Mishra's Bauble in my deck. I just didn't think it was powerful enough with the rest of the stuff I was doing. Obviously, it's a way to get like a lot of Storm for Tendrils of Agony, but other than that, it's a kind of lackluster card in my deck. It usually, it gets broken in formats where you can play with Delve spells, or it's basically just Delve spells, or Duress, I suppose. I really wonder about people. It's all access, no bans. You can do whatever you want, and this person's chosen to put Witherbloom Apprentice in their deck. But they're beating me, so gotta give them credit for that. I'm going to hope to Memory Lapse something this turn and then play the Oracle of the Alpha next turn, I think. If I just played the Oracle of the Alpha and they had a removal spell, I wind up taking an extra couple damage from, what's it called? Witherbloom Apprentice. Sure. Show me what you got. But it's not a 5-drop. Could be a 6-drop. Also Citadel. Okay. Memory Lapse not that good against the Citadel. Oh, they're playing a combo deck too. This has to be like a Tendrils of Agony deck. Maybe it's a Necro deck. Beginning to regret my decision to block. They have to be dead, right? Because they can just use... They're not really using Necro to gain card advantage. They're just using it to change the top card of their deck. That's kind of cool. And sometimes the top card of their deck is Ornithopter. That's really not all that cool. Now I understand the Witherbloom Apprentice, although there's still got to be something better. Sure, they have Tendrils of Agony in their deck. I'll give you this one, opponent. Oh, I guess they don't even need Tendrils of Agony because of the way this one. I'm just going to ritual out an Oracle of the Alpha. Or Major Plans, we're going to ritual out a Rusko. They seem to be playing a Nexus of Fate Wilderness Reclamation deck would be my guess. You have to shuffle your library off of Oracle of the Alpha, so if they Memory Lapse this Duress and then I play Oracle of the Alpha, I'm not going to draw Duress. Whoa. Didn't they have played a land untapped off of this file? On the scoreboard. Opponent seems to be mulliganing very aggressively. Okay. This is the hell of a start they've had. Sometimes feel like people concede a little bit too aggressively in these kind of oddball events, but I probably would have conceded had I mulled to 1. Though maybe they're just playing 60 lands and they just wanted to mull the 1 and then give me the win. Maybe they're just a nice person. Come on, give me a time walk. We'll get 5 cards here. I'm going to pitch at least one Fatal Push and probably a land. I'll just pitch 2 lands. Put the... Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. I guess it makes sense that it works that way, but it's kind of weird that cards go to the graveyard for a second. Come on, Time Walk. I feel like the other person's Necro deck was cooler in that once they got Bolas' Citadel out, they actually just won right away. I suspect that it's probably not actually better to do that, but it did look like it was more fun. I should have played that first. Squandered my scry. 1 life for me, please. Come on, Time Walk. Doing my best to find Time Walk. I'm putting it in my deck. I've drawn a lot of cards. So far I haven't drawn any of the Power 9. Maybe I didn't shuffle very well. The fact that Ragavan is legal is why I put so many Fatal Pushes in my deck. There seems to be a lot of people who are very interested in using Ragavan to try to put Blood Moon into play. This person might not be a Blood Moon person, but you're definitely a Ragavan person. I think I've got the Ragavan fairly well contained. Maybe not, though. Is Ragavan about to break free? It is. We would have gotten a bunch of scries. Eventually that thing would have turned into a flyer. Go a little bit easy on the Necro against a red deck. Lightning Bolt is a card you can play with in this format. I'm going to have the option of beseeching away the Necro next turn to maybe a Rusko, depending on what my hand looks like. Might just play Rusko. Thing in the ice, okay. Oh, I forgot the Necro. Oops. Okay. Gonna get another Rusko and then Tendrils them. Or not. They had had enough of me drawing a million cards. No blue mana yet, but plenty of castable cards. Well, Oko is a legal card, I gotta be honest. It doesn't seem like a very fun card to play with again. Gonna flash out 2 Bowmasters, fight my way through this Memory Lapse. See if they're interested in putting Ragavan in play. So this person has the bauble in their deck because it works with Tarmogoyf, which makes sense. I guess you can also turn the bauble into a elk. If you just want a random permanent to do that too, which is not how you usually want to play with Oko, but it's nice to have the option. I don't know about this Mistress Bauble Memory Lapse interaction. Like you could Memory Lapse someone and then bauble them and just verify that the card was still there. I didn't really have fun in that match. Duress? I think it's Duress. Oh no, it's Yorion. Whoa. Nobody told me to expect a Sky Nomad. I don't want to just jam the Rusko and let them just get Oko into play. Like I might eventually have to let that happen, but I don't think that's a spot where I'm winning. Dark Ritual the Rusko out. You could easily have a Memory Lapse or a counterspell of their own, so I think I'm going to do that. They have Brainstorm. They have Plow. going to keep my Rusko around just so I can build the counters up a little bit more with the 2 memory lapses. Counters on the clock. So this might be a game where I need to get the clock to go off. I don't have Brainstorm in my deck, both because I have mostly black mana, and I wanted to have a lot of basics because of Blood Moon, and also because Bowmasters is legal. Like, Bowmasters was kind of printed into Legacy just to make it so there was a card that could hose Brainstorm to an extent, and I didn't really want to just play into that. Go for a Necropotence. Really go for a Necropotence. Not that Necropotence.
Let's try this.
Ooh, a Mox Emerald. Not what I was looking for. Necropotence. That is what I was looking for.
Time for plan B, as soon as I think of one.
Still have an Oko. They haven't shuffled since they brainstormed, so it's just in their hand. I know that this is a... I guess they can elk something and then bounce it with the fairy. It's not the worst.
Suppose that's how it was meant to happen. This might be a bad idea.
Surely you see the humor here.
I forgot that Oko doesn't turn it into a token. Elking something and then bouncing it with the fairy really actually wasn't a very good play. On Necropotence. Please not have Memory Lapse. I think this is a solid spot to take 7 cards. Maybe more. Maybe I'll go for 8. How many have I gone for already? The UI for Necropotence is not the best. It's like very, very slow, and also you have to just keep track in your head. Was that 7? We'll go for 1 more. Oh, I can get giant tendrils just with Ancestral Recall. I guess the Memory Lapse is better if I'm actually trying to win as opposed to just make a gigantic tendrils. I think an Oko my Necro. No, they're going for a food token. Okay.
One bite, and all your cares are gone.
1 ring. Okay. This is an unnerfed form in the 1 ring. Come on, Time Walk. Leyline Binding. Sure. Oh, I didn't realize they were going after my Necro. I would have Necroed in response. I thought they were just going after the Oracle of the Alpha. Oh well, I blew that one. I can't even make the play of playing Bowmasters and then Ancestraling them because they're under the protection of the One Ring. Very, very smart by the opponent.
You are fouler than a fiend.
Can't do that this turn. Forgot about that. I have not played this game very well.
Why do you cry? You are fouler than a fiend. Your new look is enchanting.
And it didn't matter. The power of drawing 7 extra cards with Necro is too much. I think I'm going to lead on Duress instead of Ritual Necro. I didn't get to play Ragavan. I can dig for a Fatal Push. Would have worked out better had I not played that Duress. But it's really just the 4 Fatal Pushes that I can hit that can make it better to have not done that. I think it's going to work out fine for me, though. I guess they can counter this. I was thinking they were going to lapse it, but they can definitely counter it. Go for 4 cards now. I think so, maybe more than 4. I really want to hit a Bowmaster or a Fatal Push. Maybe I've gone for 3, 4, 5. We can go to 6. Now let's hit something that does something. I did not hit something that does something. They drew a Necro of their own. I guess they're going to have a hard time playing that one. Passive Iteration. Only go for one card because they have 2 lightning bolt. They had a second lightning bolt. It's kind of sad. This doesn't seem like a game I'm going to win. I really needed to not whiff on that the turn that I necroed for so much trying to find a Ragavan answer. Does that do it for me? Yeah, it does. Island, you don't help me cast Necropotence. I have 2 basic islands in my deck, I think. Whoa, they have Professional Facebreaker in their deck. Weird. I'll go for 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it'd be faster. 6. If I just held full control so I could just do them all in response to each other so I wouldn't have to wait for each animation to resolve before I could click again. That was a disappointing set of cards. I'm disappointed in you, deck. Very disappointed. So I think the play next turn is going to be to Necro for a bunch and then Beseech the Necro into a Rusko. It's a bunch though, maybe 4? Kind of feels like maybe I should have more Beseeches in my deck. They're pretty good in situations like this. Really haven't been able to stay away from the lands. The Necroing here. I would not have guessed that was what was going to happen on their turn. Dashed Ragavan with sticky fingers. Unusual. So I'll Memory Lapse the Professional Facebreaker. I'll Bowmaster the Ragavan. And then they'll be sad. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm going to Bowmaster the Ragavan, and they might just concede. Kind of sad Tendrils. It does turn for 3 because of the Rusko at least. The green and black one. Looking back, it's almost unbelievable that they thought this was a good idea of a card to print. Like some of this stuff, like Oko, Oko was kind of unreal that they thought that was a reasonable power level. But this, how could this wind up being a card that was good to exist? It's just so obnoxious when people have it in their hand because it just causes you to get priority all the time. Veil of Summer. Nice. My spidey senses are sensing a collected company coming, which is going to be Memory Lapsed. My spidey senses were off by a little bit. Doesn't matter. We got our ritual Beseech the token into a Necro this turn. We're not going to wait even a single turn for Necropotence. Hope we don't Necro into Time Twister. Supposed to hit Time Walk here. 7 cards for a Time Walk. Let's try full control. I think that's 7. Good. And then can I do Resolve All? Oh, it tells me there. 7. Okay. I didn't realize there was a window that showed you there was a little thing over there. It's a little better than I thought, but still pretty heinous. Now the plan is to Necro for a 4. Then I'm going to Ritual Beseech or Rusko. Then when I attack my Scry, they had collected company. I'm going to Scry into a Time Walk. It wasn't a Time Walk. Could force them to draw 3, burn them out. Didn't even come close to scrying into Time Walk. Scryed into 2 lands and a Fatal Push. Oh, there's the Time Walk. No wonder I couldn't find the Time Walk. It wasn't even in my deck still. That's not going to do it, opponent. It's not going to be enough. We have... Okay. So does Giganta mean they're playing Ragavan? Probably. Well, they're probably playing Ragavan because they're playing Mountain. But there's nothing about a Ragavan deck that would prohibit you from playing with Giganta. A lot of people play Obosh instead. I think I should have one less Tendrils and one more Beseech. I'm ready. Ready for something. Do your worst. The worst might just be Unholy Heat, my own Dragon's Rage Channeler, and I'm ready for that. If that's truly their worst, I can deal with it. Their worst also might be bring Giganta into my hand. I'd be ready for that as well. Or the worst could be float a red mana. Disconnect. Turns out their worst was put Giganta in their hand. They must just have a ton of lands. And they didn't do this last turn, I think, because they wanted to leave Unholy Heat up. Which I guess makes some amount of sense. I will say my deck is not very good at beating a 5-mana 5/5 once it gets into play. I don't think I have anything that can kill it. So having said that, I'm going to Memory Lapse it. And then I'm going to hope to draw an untapped land so I can go Rusko, Memory Lapse it again. And then it will resolve. I'm going to let Blood Moon into play just because it turns off all my blue cards. Like my deck is reasonably able to cast spells through Blood Moon, but I still don't want it to be in play. If they don't have a 5th land, though, I'm definitely just going to play Rusko. And then they can resolve Blood Moon, but I'll have 2 swamps and a Midnight Clock at that point, so Blood Moon really won't be affecting me that much. Ooh. They even have an island. Seems like they probably have cards like Lightning Bolt or Unholy Heat in their hand. This is a good deck for the Bauble too because of Delirium. Unholy Heat. And Dragon's Rage Channeler. Oh, this is a nerfed one? No, it's a regular one. Goodbye, Rusko. Mana situation's a little bit awkward, huh? So if I play Clockmaker, I don't have enough black, so I'm just going to play Necro and Necro for 6. On Fatal Push. Probably could have avoided discarding a card if I'd gone into full control. I certainly could have avoided giving them a scry here. Or surveil. Rusko's back, and he's making clocks. We'll go for 5 this time. I know I said my deck was not very good at beating Giganta, but I think from this spot I will be able to beat the Giganta if they top deck a land. We can do some cool stuff here. Can I afford to get the Rusko into play and play Oracle of the Alpha and Beseech and cast Time Walk? I don't think so. Actually, I think I can. No, I'm one short. Alright, so that in that case, I think the priority is casting Time Walk. But I want to Necro first so that when I Beseech for the Time Walk, I can't... It doesn't get stuck in the Necro zone. So I need to Necro a few times, then play Oracle, then Beseech for Time Walk. 3. We'll go for one more. And hopefully I can kill him this turn. Die, Giganta. I know this isn't going to work. Just adding to Storm. I could have also Memory Lapse because I don't think I played a land. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun to play with Necro for a little while. This maybe wasn't the best way to build it, but I did get to Necro and then find Time Walk, which was the goal. I'll see you next time.